Morning, everyone. As been introduced, Telekom Malaysia, today I would like to share with you some of the transformation journey that we undertook in the last couple of years. In particular, how do we actually leverage on digital to enhance the customer experience, as well as how do we achieve the operational efficiency in providing services. As you all know, as a telco, we need to focus on three fundamental items concurrently. Number one, without a product, there is no service. So product leadership is key. Number two is about operational efficiency. And number three is about how do we deal with the customer, whether we are able to actually create a customer intimacy to make sure that they stay with us and keep growing a business together with them. So the question is, are we able to drop any one of those three, or should we focus on all three? It's a very tough decision for all telco to decide on this, but one thing sure is that we need to be excel in one of the three, at least, and must be good at the other two. So the choice is us. Telcos will have to make a choice which one that you wanted to go for. In the case of Telekom Malaysia, over the last decade, probably up to 2012, we have been focusing a lot on the product leadership as well as the operational efficiency, operational excellence. Yes, we have done a lot of things to Telekom Malaysia, especially in terms of the new product launch, as well as improving our processes. But from the customer response or the customer satisfaction index perspective, it only brought us to a certain level. Yeah? And we are kind of stuck at about mid-70s in terms of a customer satisfaction index. So up to until about 2012, we are struggling to even push a bit higher beyond 75 stuff. So in around 2014, we took a different approach altogether. So out of the three, we repositioned our approach. So let's look at it from the customer angle, and how can we work inside, looking at all the processes, the product requirement, and so forth that meet the customer expectation. So by doing that, we saw an encouraging performance where our CSI have actually jumped from by 3 percentage points in the TRIM methodology measurement. By the way, 2 index point in TRIM is considered as significant. This is how they define it. So, leveraging on the digital that is been made available to us, in particular, beginning in 2014, we really look at this opportunity to innovate the way we deliver a customer experience. And secondly, we are also using this to gain better control of our daily operation, be it the front end as well as the back end. Yeah? And in doing so, we are also seeing an encouraging performance in terms of the productivity uplift, be it at the front end, be it at the workforce management at the network level. And this is what we have done. And as you can see in the slide, prior to that, prior to the digital opportunity that we have before us a few years ago, our NPS in 2014 is actually below 0. And by putting all this initiative, looking at it from the customer perspective, introducing all the digital processes, digitize many processes that we have done manually before this, in 2016, it's really gone up by 4 percentage points. And this year, we are in the midst of conducting a survey. And looking at all the leading indicators that we have on the ground, we are confident that we are going to surpass the so-called average global telecom operator at 5. So we are confident of that. And let me take you through on how we did it and how do we leverage the digital opportunity to achieve all this. First and foremost, we look at the front end how do we manage the customer at the endpoint, at the contact center, and the rest of it. Being a telco, we knew that OSS, BSS actually come with multiple systems for the frontliners to actually find information. We have got to source all this information through many systems, and it's very complicated. So we created one app, what we call OVAL, One View Application Layer. So this basically simplify the existing processes that are basically manual into a digital process where it simplify the processes from 15 minutes process in the past to less than 1 minute, so that the frontliners will be able to actually extract all this information automatically through the automation system, and that helps the frontliners to actually communicate with the customer efficiently. That's one at the front end. At the back end, at the network or the field team level, we introduced a system what we call a SWIFT. It's a workforce management system. This is basically a digital platform that enables our workforce to do their day-to-day operation at the installation level, at the post-implementation level, and all is really done through a tablet. So gone are the days where we do all the manual processes. It actually improves a lot of efficiency in terms of managing a day-to-day operation. And as a result of that, we are seeing a consistent product and service delivery to our end users. Let me share with you what I meant by SWIFT just now. We used to have a system involving more than 30 complicated navigation process. We are only able to do about 30% first level filtration in any complaint. And it typically took us around 30 to 140 minutes to solve one critical problem. With this new in-house developed product, is a workforce optimization tool, we basically provide all the frontliners with a tablet with all the apps in it, and it simplifies the whole process from 30 to 140 minutes down to less than 15 minutes. So that really creates an easiness for the frontliners itself, as well as a happiness to the customer, because the customer will be able to see that our workforce is actually doing the job right in front of them. Yeah? And by the token of this system, we are able to actually do the first level filtration to more than 65%. And of course, there are other physical works that we need to do on top of these processes. So that's where we are not able to get 100% at that point. And today, we are in the midst of moving to the next wave, that is wave 2. We have completed wave 1. We are in wave 2 now, leveraging on whatever platform that we have built over the last 3-4 years to create an easy and memorable interaction with the customer. We have established the platform. We are now moving to the next step. There are multiple initiatives that we undertook right now to build this, to complete this wave 2. Along the way, when I say that, I actually, we undertook a different approach in managing the customer experience. We are moving from the so-called lagging indicator to a leading indicator. In the past, we used 3 methodology to look at our customer satisfaction level. This is basically done once a year, and some organization may did it in a quarterly basis, but for us, it's always done by end of the year. But for us, 1 year is too long for us to get a feedback from the customer. So we introduced this, what we call Net Easy Score, way back in 2014, and later on, we moved to the next step by introducing Net Promoter Score. This is really a leading indicator for us to gauge the customer experience and how good we are in providing services to them, apart from the product that we offered to the market. So with the NES at hand, this is where, as you can see earlier, our NPS has actually gone up over the last 24 months. Yeah? Because it really gives us a tool on how to improve ourselves. And giving us an opportunity to develop something new that meets their expectation. This is the result, if I may share with you. In 2014, for example, as I said, our CSI stuck at around 74, 73. In 2 years, we are able to actually push this to a higher level at about 77. That's in 2016. I'm not sure what's the reading going to be by end of this year. It's just a few months, few weeks away. But if you look at the benchmark, we are confident that we are cruising upward towards so-called top 10% globally, which are enjoying the rating at about 85%. Yeah. The reason why I'm saying that is because when we look at the leading indicator, we are looking at email, how people responded to that. How we look at the comments through Twitter. We look at how people communicate with us through live chat. They are all moving up to the higher level. We look at the NPS result in terms of the customer experience from the day they subscribe to us to the day they get the first bill. That's onboarding. And then we look at their satisfaction level for the first 6 months. Then we are also asking the long customer to see whether they are loyal with us. So all these indicating that they are happier. So all this is possible because of the digital platform that we have created in the past. Now, we are moving towards what we call a customer journey 2.0. So basically, not only that we are focusing on digitization, meaning digitize all the existing processes, revamp the processes that we have in the past, but we are also moving towards digitalization, meaning offering product and solution through digital. So this is something that being implemented this year, and inshallah we'll see the progress by next year. Yeah? And the main reason for us to do this, again, is going back to the strategy that we took. Strategy that we took in around 2014, where we are not focusing just on the operational efficiency, we are not just focusing on the product leadership, but more importantly is we are looking at the customer intimacy as a means to deliver our business. Yeah? So we look at the whole journey in the iJourney concept. We are looking at it from the discovery stage, the I join, I use, I pay, and then engage. So if any of these stage giving a bad experience to the customer, out we go. So it has got to be good at all stages. So how do we do that? First and foremost, at the front end, we are looking at creating an omni-channel. We are leveraging on all the digital platform that is available today in terms of live chat, email, of course, phone calls is fundamental. We are also looking at the social network on how do we improvise the whole process. And to support all this, we need to have the OSS and the BSS at the back. So this is where I did not intend to dwell further in terms of the OSS, BSS, but I think suffice to say that we are integrating the front-end capability and the back-end capability through a project what we call Next. That means whatever happened on the network, the front-end will be able to see that immediately. Yeah? And we are creating a real-time customer insight view. This view actually being made available to the customer themselves, especially the corporate customers. So they truly appreciate those. And to value add all the things that we have done, for the consumer, for the mass market segment, we are in the midst of building mobile apps to give them the tools that will be able to replace all the interaction with us through phone calls and the rest. And with these mobile apps, we are basically empowering the customer to interact with us in terms of application, in terms of relocating the service, as well as the repair works that is needed in the future. and they are empowered to even see the usage pattern through these apps. And what is more important is for us to look at it and whether that requirement will create an actionable tracker for us to improve further. Yeah? And this is going to be launched soon. I'm not able to declare the date, but it's going to be very soon, as early as probably early next year. Well, I think that is a lot that I have talked about on the front end. What about the back end? At the back end, as I shared with you earlier, we should not forget about the back end capability. While digitalization is good for the customers, for the front end, it is equally good for us to build a strong back end, be it at the BSS level, OSS level, and even moving into the so-called open architecture as mentioned by Nick earlier on. Yeah? So at the back end, for example, we started talking about NFB, NSV to be implemented next year. We talk about revamping the BSS, the business support system that will enable end-to-end digital services. We have actually floated the tender. I think it's going to take 12 to 15 months to complete. And this will enable us to really deliver what we plan for towards the digital CSP. It may not be a full digital CSP, but we are moving along that line. At the operational side, we are looking at analytics as fundamental for us to do the analysis, to know what is the experience, rather than network is interested only looking at the network elements. In the past, network people tend to look at the connectivity. We tend to look at it as an isolated case, component by component. But gone are the days. I think we should look at it from the end-to-end customer experience perspective. Customer wouldn't mind actually looking at it from the individual level. In fact, that is what they wanted. But for us to support those, we have to have the capability to analyze the customer experience, if possible, is even at the individual level. Definitely at the enterprise level, we are able to do that now, but this is more of the individual customers. It is difficult, but one of the fundamental things that we need to do is to have this analytic capability. Yeah? Only with the analytic capability, then we are able to transform the back end to really see the service level from the customer end perspective. So, this, together with the other big ticket items that we currently undertook, as I mentioned, SDNFB is one, BSS is another. We are confident that we are moving towards building that, and perhaps if there is something that I would like to share here in terms of experience is, it is worth doing and looking at digital as a means to really enhance our business, because business comes from the customer satisfaction. So if you are able to actually satisfy the customer through the digital, then your business is going to be there. Well, if we were to move into the next step, a full digital CSP, there's a lot of transformation that we need to do. But for a traditional telco to move into that, we have got to do it step by step. So with that, thank you very much, everyone, for listening to me on that. Thank you.